it is uncertain whether the upcoming Nikon Z7 III will be the best camera in 2024. It is highly likely that Nikon is developing the Z7 III as a successor to the current Z7 model, just as they are also working on the Z6 III. One area where Nikon is expected to focus on improving is the autofocus system, which has been a weakness in the current Z7 model. So when is it coming? And what's it gonna pack? Let's explore, boys. The original Z7 was often referred to as a mirrorless D850. This was mostly because it had 45 megapixels and a price around $3,000. Many people assumed that Nikon simply put a D850 into a mirrorless form. However, as most have realized, this wasn't accurate. Firstly, the Z7 had a more consumer-oriented interface with a mode dial, UHASH instead of banks, missing button customizations, and more. The lack of a true vertical grip for the original Z7 added to the perception that it wasn't a D850 replacement. From the beginning, I considered the Z7 model to be below the D850, and eventually, most users agreed. Unfortunately, the Z7 II didn't push the body up to being a true mirrorless D850 replacement either. In terms of useful changes, Nikon didn't make many. Sure, the buffer improved, and the autofocus system was thoroughly tweaked, but it still lacked many features that a D850 user might want in a mirrorless camera. However, we did get the option of a working vertical grip, which was a step forward, but not a significant one. We expect that the upcoming Nikon Z7 III will have a new sensor with around 60 megapixels. This will allow Nikon to compete with the Sony A7RV and the Canon R5 Mark II. With the introduction of the Nikon Z8, we see that Nikon aims to push the limits. However, the Z7 III and Z8 will be entirely different cameras, with the Z8 aimed at action photography and the Z7 III at landscape photography. If you enjoy shooting cinematic videos that could be played in the cinema, the Nikon Z7 III could certainly help you with that. It will likely have the ability to record 4K videos at a maximum frame rate of 60 frames per second, allowing you to slow down the image at this resolution. If you want to film high-quality slow motion, you might get the option to film at 120 frames per second in Full HD resolution, enabling you to slow down the image up to 5 times. It is quite unlikely that Nikon will add a 4K 1:OP function, as that would make the Z8 less unique. And it is their most popular model at the moment. The focus system is an important aspect to discuss because the Z7II is not well suited for action photography. I don't expect Nikon to give a major update to the focus mechanism with the Z7 III, as this could reduce the sales of the Z8. The Nikon Z7 III will likely recognize subjects such as people, animals, birds, and vehicles. It doesn't matter how small the subject is. The Z7 III should be able to recognize it. There is a good chance that Nikon will update the focusing system so that it can at least compete with Canon and Sony. The Nikon Z7II was released in October 2020, which was already 3 years ago. I think it's time for an upgrade. Nikon needs to take action because Canon is also about to launch the R5 too. While it's not certain, take the following information with a grain of salt. It took just over 2 years from the original Nikon Z7 to the Z7E. Now, 3 years later, we expect the Z7 III to be released around the middle or towards the end of 2024. The Nikon Z7 III is an exciting new camera that will be released in 2024. It will have impressive features. The Z7 III will have a full-frame 45 megapixel sensor with built-in image stabilization. You will be able to shoot 4K video at 60 frames per second with high-quality 10-bit output through the HDMI connection. The camera will also allow you to take 20 RAW photos or 30 JPEG photos per second in burst mode. The Z7 III will be a significant improvement over the previous Z7 II and Z6 II models, mainly due to its enhanced video capabilities and a new improved autofocus system. The Nikon Z7 Mark III will compete with cameras like the Nikon Z7 II, Canon EOS R5, and the Sony A7 IV, so its price is expected to be between $3,000 and $4,000. So that was all about the upcoming Nikon Z7 III. Are you excited? We sure are. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.